Good morning. We will start with the Otto cycle. The main drawback of the Carnot cycle is impracticality due to high pressure and high volume ratios. So Nicholas Otto in 1870-60 proposed a constant volume heat addition cycle which forms the basis for the working of today's spark ignition engine. The cycle is shown on PV and TS diagram. When the engine is working on full throttle, the process 0 to 1 and 1 to 0 on the PV diagram represent the suction and exhaust processes. So this 0 to 1 is your suction, and from 1 to 0 is your exhaust. The process 1 to 2 represent isotropic compression of air. So this 1 to 2, it represents isotropic compression of air when the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. So this 1 to 2 is your compression in the cylinder. When your piston moves from one dead center to another dead center, during the process 2 to 3 heat is supplied. So from 2 to 3, this is your heat is supplied at constant volume. You can see here from 2 to 3 your volume is constant. So this is vertical line. So volume, this parameter volume is constant from 2 to 3. This process corresponds to spark ignition and combustion in the actual engine. So when you give the spark to the engine in SA engine, so heat addition it has constant volume. This process corresponds to spark ignition. The process 3 to 4 and 4 to 1 represent isotropic expansion and constant volume heat rejection respectively. So this 3 to 4 is your isotropic expansion process, and 4 to 1 is your heat rejection at constant volume. At 4 and 1 your volume is same. It is also vertical line. So 4 to 1 is your heat rejection at constant volume. The same is explained on TS diagram. 1 to 2 is your first process, compression. 2 to 3 is your heat addition. 3 to 4 is your expansion, isotropic expansion, and 4 to 1 is your heat rejection. So we have to calculate the thermal efficiency of Otto cycle as we had calculated in Carnot cycle. So what is thermal efficiency? Heat supplied minus heat rejected divided by heat supplied. So there are two processes, constant volume processes, that is 2 to 3 and 4 to 1. Consider this 2 to 3 and 4 to 1. So heat supplied, because heat supplied is a constant volume, so Q heat supplied is equal to M CV T3 minus T2, M CV delta T, and heat rejected in 4 to 1, heat rejected in 4 to 1, which is constant volume process, is M CV T4 minus T1. We will put these QS and QR here in this equation. QS and QR in this equation, QS and QR, we will get this equation. Efficiency Otto is equal to M T3 minus T2 minus M T4 minus T1 divided by M T3 minus T2. And after solving, we will get this equation. 1 minus T4 minus T1 divided by T3 minus T2. Now next take other two processes. Isotropic, because we have to simplify this equation. Our purpose is to make this equation simple. There are 4 parameters, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will make this equation simple. So isotropic process 1 to 2 and 3 to 4. So we will take this process 1 to 2 and 3 to 4. For isotropic process, this is the condition. T2 by T1 is equal to V1 by V2 raised to power gamma minus 1. And for this 3 to 4 process, T3 minus T4 is equal to V4 minus V3 raised to power gamma minus 1. So these two equations, this equation and this equation is for the 1 to 2 process and 3 to 4 process. And you can see here, we know V1 by V2 and V4 by V3 ratio is called compression ratio. If you take this V1, if you take this V1 and V2, if the take the ratio of V1 and V2, this is called compression ratio. And if you take V4 and V3, this is called expansion ratio. So we will replace this by R. Put V1 by V2 here R, V4 by V3 here R. Now you will get T2 by T1 is equal to T3 by T4. Take this T4 here, what you will get, T4 by T1 is equal to T3 by T2. Subtract minus 1 from this equation. Minus 1 here, minus 1 here. You will get T4 by T1 minus 1, T3 by T2 minus 1. You will get this equation T4 minus T1 divided by T3 minus T2 is equal to T1 by T2. After solving this equation, you will get this equation. Now this value here, these two values are same. You can see this value and this value is same. So you can put T1 by T2 here. So we will get efficiency of Otto cycle is 1 minus T1 by T2. So this is the complete derivation for the efficiency of the Otto cycle. You can see here, this is the efficiency of Otto cycle 1 minus T1 by T2. We can replace T2 by T1 with V1 by V2 raised to power gamma minus 1. So this is the efficiency of Otto cycle 1 minus 1 upon V1 by V2 raised to power gamma minus 1. Replace V1 by V2 in terms of R. This is your efficiency 1 minus 1 upon R raised to power gamma minus 1. So it is clearly visible that the efficiency is a function of compression ratio and gamma, and gamma is ratio of Cp by Cv. Okay, so note that the thermal efficiency of Otto cycle is a function of compression ratio R and the ratio of specific heats gamma. As gamma is assumed to be constant for any working fluid, the efficiency is increased by increasing the compression ratio. The efficiency is independent of heat supplied and pressure ratio. The use of gases with higher gamma values would increase efficiency of Otto cycle. You can see in this graph is between efficiency and compression ratio. We have three curves here. One is for monatomic gas, for which gamma is 1.67. Second is for air, for which gamma is 1.4. Third is exhaust gas, for which gamma is 1.3. So means if the gas is monatomic, the efficiency will be maximum. If we take air, the efficiency is intermediate. If you take exhaust gas, which is actual after burning, we have exhaust products, so gamma is equal to 1.3. So the efficiency will vary with the gamma and with compression ratio. So in the next lecture, we will come up with the work output. In the next session, we will come up with the work output. So now we calculate the net work output of internal combustion engine. You can see this PV diagram. So what is work output? What is net work output? From 1 to 2, we have to give work. Piston has to work on the fluid. From 3 to 4, fluid will do work on the piston. So this is 3 to 4, we will get work. From 1 to 2, we have to do work on the fluid. So the area under this curve will give you the work. The area under this 3-4 curve will give you the work. And area under 2-1 curve will give you the work. So if you calculate this area, if we calculate this area 1, 2, 3 and 4, if we calculate this area, this is your network. So come to here, P3 V3 minus P4 V4 by gamma minus 1. This is total work under this curve 3 to 4. If the process is adiabatic isotropic expansion, for that PV raised to power gamma is constant, and if you solve this PV raised to power gamma is equal to constant, we will get this work. This is the work under 3 to 4 curve, and this work P2 V2 minus P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1 is under 1 to 2 curve. So we can write in terms of area under 3, 4, 1, A, B, 2, 3. So this total area is here, minus area under 2, 1, A, B, 2, this area. So we will get this work. If we calculate this area, we will get work. Now, for isotropic expansion processes and compression, this is the condition. For 1 point and 2 point, from 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, this equation is valid. PV raised to power gamma is equal to constant for this curve and for this curve. So we can write as P1 V1 raised to power gamma is equal to P2 V2 raised to power gamma. And same we can write for 3 to 4, P3 V3 raised to power gamma is equal to P4 V4 raised to power gamma. What you can do now, take this here, V1 by V2 raised to power gamma is equal to P2 by P1. Here you can take this V3 here. So V4 by V3 raised to power gamma is equal to P3 by P4. These two equations we have. Now what is V1 by V2? As we know, V1 by V2 is R. You can replace this V1 by V2 with R. So R raised to power gamma is equal to P2 by P1 is equal to, again, this V4 by V3. This V4 by V3 is R. You can replace with R. So we will get these equations here. P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P4 is equal to R raised to power gamma. We can write it as RP, R raised to power gamma in simplified form. We can write as RP. Now divide this by P1 V1, divide this by P1 and multiply this by P1 V1. We get work here, P1 V1 gamma minus 1 and divide by the same. So you have P3 V3 by P1 V1, then P4 V4 by P1 V1, then P2 V2 by P1 V1, and here if you divide by P1 V1, we will get plus 1. Now multiply by in this equation here, multiply by P2 and divide by P2. V4 by V1 will cancel out because you can see in PV diagram V4 and V1 are same. So V4 and V1 will cancel out. You will get P4 by P1. And we have this equation. Now you can clearly see that P3 by P2. From this equation, what is P3 by P2? It is equal to RP. You can place P3 by P2 by RP. P2 by P1. P2 by P1. You can also replace P2 by P1 with R raised to power gamma, and V3 by V1 with R. You can see here that P3 by P2 is equal to P4 by P1 is equal to RP. So you can replace P3 by P2 from here with RP. P2 by P1 you can replace in terms of R, and you can have V3 by V1, which we can write as R, because V1 you have here that is you can place this with the R. Minus this P4 by P1. This P4 you can see here, this P4 by P1 is Rp. Then P2 by P1, P2 by P1, you have P2 by P1, this is R raised to power gamma, and V2 by V1, you have R plus 1. After this equation, from here, we will solve here. Work is equal to P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1, Rp, R raised to power gamma minus 1, minus Rp, minus R raised to power gamma minus 1 plus 1. So you can take Rp as common. So R raised to power gamma minus 1 minus R raised to power gamma minus 1 minus 1. After solving, we will get this. Work is equal to P1 V1 by gamma minus 1 bracket Rp minus 1 bracket R raised to power gamma minus 1 minus 1. Now we will calculate mean effective pressure PM, which is work output divided by swept volume. So what is swept volume? That is V1 minus V2. So take this work here, take this work divided by swept volume. So V1 minus V2 we can write as, take V2 common. So V1 by V2 is equal to R minus 1. After solving, V1 by V2 is equal to R. We will get P1 V1 by V2 is equal to R, Rp minus 1, R raised to power gamma minus 1 divided by this value. So this is mean effective pressure. Thus it can be seen that the work output is directly proportional to pressure ratio. You can clearly see that work output is directly proportional to pressure ratio. The mean effective pressure, which is an indication of internal work output, increases with a pressure ratio at a fixed value of compression ratio and ratio of specific heat. For an Otto cycle, an increase in compression ratio leads to an increase in mean effective pressure as well as thermal efficiency. So higher is mean effective pressure, so higher will be the thermal efficiency, and higher will the compression ratio, the higher will be your work output and mean effective pressure. So in the next class we will discuss next topic.